far been able to go on Facebook there. So my lucky day today, and we'll get started with the prayers. Om Ajnanatimharandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sya He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye. So reading from the first canto, 7th chapter, verse number 28. And this is about the son of Drona punished. And I don't think I started the recording. I should do that.
The recording has started.
Okay, so then while we were away, we were joined also by Ankur Prabhu, Dheer Madhavi Mataji, and Medha Mataji, and Smriti Mataji. Okay, good to have you all on the call. And so I'll continue reading, to start reading from 1:7:28 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Nahi asyan yatamam kinchid asram pratyavarakshanam jahe astrateja unnadham astragyo hi astratejasa. Synonyms: na, not; he, certainly; asya, of it; anyatamam, other; kinchit, anything; astram, weapon; prati, counter; avakarshanam, reactionary; jahi, subdue it; astratejaha, the glare of this weapon; unnadham, very powerful; asagnya, expert in military science; he, as a matter of fact; astratejaha, by the influence of your weapon. Okay, so I'm going to ask you the most obvious question here, that what is the Sanskrit for astra?
Weapon.
Weapon, okay. And we sometimes also see the word shastra being used. Like in Bhagavad Gita, we see pravarte shastra sampate dhanurudyamya pandavas. It talks about how Arjuna in the beginning of the war is, just getting ready. He and Krishna have just driven into the battlefield in a very wonderful chariot, and he's getting ready to fight. So he picks up his bow and bow Gandiva. So it says pravarte shastra sampate. So there's astra here, and then there is shastra there, right? So what do you think is the difference between astra and shastra?
Mataji, I'm guessing that probably Shastra is something which is like made out of a like a metal, like a sword and a bow and arrow, and Astra is something which they do with the mantra ucharan, and that's how they. I mean, it doesn't have a physical form per se. And
Okay, so even if it's a brahmastra, it will have a form. It's just that, you know, it's an ordinary weapon to begin with, like a arrow, and then by chanting the mantras, they bring the power into that arrow, and then the arrow goes wherever you are directing it to go, like that, and then you can retract it and ask it to come back, right? So shastra, just remember from the word sha for shastra and sha for sharir. So shastra is something that you will hold in your body while you're using it. For example, pravarte shastra sampate dhanurudyama pandava. So Arjun has picked up the shastra. He has picked up the gandhi because when he's using the bow, he always holds the bow in his hands like that, right? Or if it is a gada, mace, you hold it in your hand and then, you know, you will use it majorly like that. Of course, people can throw a mace also. So then it becomes the proper characteristic of astra also, right? In contrast, what was Yudhishthir very good at? Like Arjun was very good at Dhanur Vidya, right? Bow and arrow. What was Yudhishthir good at?
spear. It was good with spear.
Very good. And it's so spear is a astra or a shastra. Shastra is something that you keep with your body, and astra is
So
something
if
that
he's
goes
fight, if he's fighting and holding it in his hand, it will be Shastra. If it's down, then it will be Astra.
out. And no, let me explain that. Yeah, because it's a weapon, it has to start from your body, right? It'll be in your hand in the beginning. Now, what do you do with your hand? You keep it in your hand and then fight with it, or you throw it somewhere and then fight, or remove it from your body and then the fight begins. So in this case, spear is a astra, right? Is a astra because you use the spear and then you throw it at somebody, right? Right? Like a
But I feel
yeah.
but they use the word Astra Shastra combinedly.
Yes, so when they use yeah, the difference is there. Yeah, we might not use the proper usage of that, right? They might say astra and shastra, which is fine, right? In a war, you use astra and shastra. Astra and shastra tainat kar liya. I can be using multiple astra and shastra. I could use multiple weapons, right? In that case, but the difference between astra and shastra is that astra is something that you throw, and shastra is something that you keep in your hand, and like that. Shastra is something that you keep in your body, stays in your body, like close to the shari, like that. Okay.
Mataji, can you describe what was the Astra that Yudhishthir was good at?
Spear, bhala, javelin, yeah, yeah.
I see. So you throw it and then
You attack,
it.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so then some more over here. So what is Sanskrit for reactionary? Avakarshanam is reactionary. Okay. Who the person, if a person is very expert in the military science, what would you call him? Astragya. Okay, give me some examples of Astragya. Arjun. Who else? Dronacharya. Right. Okay, good. Like that. Okay. And then, okay, let us see. What is the meaning of certainly in Sanskrit? He, right? So we call it he. Okay. And you're talking about anything? What is that? Kinchit. Okay, kinchit. And if something is very powerful, what will you call it? Unnadham. Okay, very good. Translation: O Arjuna, only another Brahmas can counteract this weapon. Since you are expert in the military science, subdue this weapon's glare with the power of your own weapon. Okay, so just to do a little quick recap, instead, in case we forgot all that is happening over here. So we know that Ashwathama had killed the 5 sons of the Pandavas, and Draupadi was lamenting the loss of her sons. So Arjuna, who was very close to Draupadi, he was the favorite among the five. He could not bear to see the tears of his wife. So he said that I'm going to kill that person who has done this, and I'm going to bring his head to you. You can stand on this head and you can take your bath like that. So Arjun then starts following Ashwatthama, and Ashwatthama is running in his chariot, and Arjuna is following behind him. And Ashwatthama's horses get thirsty in the middle of this chase. And Ashwatthama knows that now my horse is not going to run, and so Arjuna is going to come get me. So he is at the wit's end, completely cornered, and he does the undoable, unthinkable, and that is he releases a Brahmastra. And the thing is that he does not know how to retract the Brahmastra like that. And so when the Brahmastra is released, then there's a glaring light that goes in all the directions. And Arjun is just wondering like what has happened. He gets a feeling that his life is in danger. And so he turns to Lord Krishna and he addresses that. And we see some very beautiful prayers that he offers to Lord Krishna. And then Krishna responds to him, and Krishna says that, well, you know what? This is the act of the son of Drona, and he has used his hymns and he's created this nuclear energy, this Brahmastra, and now he does not know how to retract it. And he has done it because he was scared of his imminent death. So then he says in today's verse, he's saying, oh Arjuna, only another Brahmas can counteract this weapon. And so, you use your prowess, you know it how to do that. So you use your powers to go and counteract his weapon over there. So let's go down into the purport and see what Prabhupada has to tell us about this verse. The purport says, for the atomic bombs, there was no counter weapon to neutralize the effects. But by subtle science, the action of a Brahmastra can be counteracted, and those who were expert in the military science in those days could counteract the Brahmastra. The son of Dronacharya did not know the act of counteracting the weapon, and therefore Arjuna was asked to counteract it by the power of his own weapon. So we had talked a little bit about the weapons and these, wonderful kinds of weapons that are being used in that fight. And I'm just getting a noise from one line, and I'm just muting that line. You can always unmute yourself to ask me questions. So we had talked about the weapons last time, and I just wanted to reiterate that when we compare that, we call ourselves modern. Science is modern, science is very advanced. We have got all kinds of wonderful, sophisticated nuclear weapons. But the thing is that if we take a nuclear bomb and we drop it someplace, then that bomb is irrespective of, who is there in that city or that town or that village, wherever you drop that bomb. It'll kill both who are guilty as well as those who are innocent. It'll do that to both of them. And however, when it comes to Brahmas, it's not like that. Actually, Brahmas has been created by Brahma, or a better word to do is to say that is, it was discovered by Brahma. So Brahma doesn't create things like that. I mean, these hymns, etc., these Vedic mantras that are chanted, and as Priyanka Mataji was saying that, for these Brahmastra kind of things, they are invoked by chanting mantras. So these mantras actually come from the Veda, the Vedic mantras. And so the interesting thing is that these are Vedic mantras. So when we, in contrast to that, when we go and start building a nuclear weapon, then we have to test it out, right? And so we have to, explode that. Maybe we'll do that underneath the earth. And when we do that underneath, go several feet below the earth's surface, and then we detonate or explode or start the nuclear reaction, then we think everything is good because we are up here and everything is safe and sound. But that's not the Vedic way of looking at it, right? For us, Prithvi is mother. And it's the same as getting inside your stomach of your mom or abdomen of your mom, and then, starting a bomb over there. And then we think that we are safe because it's being detonated below. But the thing is that even beneath the surface of the earth, there are many, many living entities that are there. So it's just that we have this careless attitude. We have a very careless attitude towards other living entities around us because we are powerful, we're more intelligent. So we think it's our birthright to conquer and enjoy the whole earth and exploit her for our own benefit. So, but that was not the case with Brahmas. There was no need to test them because the mantra, it's not that I have now produced a mantra, I have come up with a mantra, and I really need to test it that if I chant this mantra, whether a Brahmas is going to appear or not, like that, right? So, these are mantras that are coming from the Vedas, and Vedas are spoken by the Lord, so they are flawless, right? So there's no need to test these kinds of mantras, and more importantly, there is no need to store them either. Nowadays, he has made nuclear bomb. This country has got nuclear weapon. That country has got nuclear weapons. And if I'm going to store it, and what if my enemies come and they drop a bomb exactly where I've stored all my nuclear weapons? What's going to happen? And things like that. But we don't have to worry about those kind of storage things. And you know what, countries do that. Enemies always do that, and most of the countries are sort of inimical towards each other. We know that. And so they will also have their spies who will go and spy and find out like what are the nuclear weapons that other country, my enemy country, or my so-called enemy country, is holding, and things like that. And I still remember when I was learning data communication about 30 years ago back in India. There was a very nice Professor Ramani he was from the Videsh Sanchar Nigam Department of Telecommunications in India. And so he was talking about data security, and which is of paramount importance to us nowadays because a lot of data is there. But back in those days, 30 years ago, there's not much that we stored there. But still, nevertheless, there was a reason to transfer data over the lines. And he was saying that one of the reasons that Indian secrets were never out, like, Russia might spy on America and America might spy on Russia, this country might spy on this one, like that. So, and because the data was there, either being transmitted to satellite or coaxial cables or whatever, so people are able to tap it and then decipher what's the information that's going on. So it was easy to do those kind of things. But he said that the secrets, the military secrets of India, are not easily let out because there's something really, really important. Then the defense minister will have a print of that. Somebody typed it on a typewriter, print it on a piece of paper, and then put it on a briefcase. And if he has to take it from one point to another point, instead of using lines and phone lines or modems or whatever, he would just carry it in a briefcase and fly it. And while on the flight, he will have his briefcase tied to his hands and things like that. And we were all laughing at that. But now that, when I'm reading this, that thought suddenly came back that, well, yeah, when you build something like that and when you have something secret, you have to hide it from others. And if it's a gross thing, then others can see it. So you have a big business trying to hide it. But when it comes to Brahmastra, because it's uttered by the mantra, so all that you need to know is that, number one, you should get the blessings from a spiritual master, and then you should know how to properly invoke it, and also which will bring the astra, and then also you should know how to retract it, which will be another set of mantras that you learn. So our Ashtatthama only knows how to bring it, and he doesn't know how to, how to bring it out, but doesn't know how to just retract it as well. So, but the Vedic mantra, like I was pointing out, there's no need to store them. There's no need to touch them. All that you do is that you touch the water for your purification. And we see both Ashwatthama had done that, and both Ashwatthama as well as Arjun will do that after Krishna tells him to do that. Now, when it comes to these kind of astras, there's always, for a weapon, there would be another weapon that will be able to counteract it, unless it's a weapon that nobody can counteract. So, for example, there were I had mentioned a few weeks ago that there were different types of weapons which were available, which we don't even know of. For example, they like the weapons that we know these days are mostly fire weapons, or in the sense that they will let out fire and then you put a fire to things. And so there used to be fire weapons there then also. And so like, you will unleash an arrow, and that arrow will be full of fire, and then it will go and start burning the enemy's army, like that. And then to counteract these fire weapons, then there would be a rain weapon, prajanya, is rain. So there'll be a Prajanya Astra to counteract that. So if the opposite party knew how to invoke a Prajanya Astra, they would be able to do that or use it like that. And then similarly, if you had a Vayu Astra basically means that you're able to command the wind, and a huge wind will blow on the battlefield, and everything will start flying, including the armies and the chariots and their weapons. Everything will fly into the air. And what can stop the air is the mountain. So people could use a Parvat weapon, which would stop the mountain. It would stop the air and then bring, all this tumultuous thing that's happening on the battlefield to a rest like that. So when you back to a Brahmastra, when you would invoke the Brahmastra, so with the mantra that you're chanting, and so you would have some kind of a sankalpa, right? And what is a sankalpa? What is it that you want this Brahmastra to do? Right? So Ashwatthama's sankalpa was that he wanted to kill or destroy the entire Pandava clan, right? Entire family should get wiped out by that, right? Sons, grandsons, grandfathers, whoever is alive, let them all be done, right? And then of course, he releases it, doesn't know, and Arjun is now getting worried. Now we see that Arjun he prays to Krishna, something very, very amazing, that Arjuna has got so much of faith on Krishna that even when he's faced with this kind of a disaster, there's this huge effulgence that's coming at him, and he does not know what it is. And obviously his mind is already fried because of the death of his sons. But even in such a dire situation, when he sees something as bad as a Brahmastra or light, he doesn't know yet that it's a Brahmastra, the light coming up to him, maybe he just turns to Krishna and starts praying to Krishna. It's not even asking him questions like that, right? And then in the end, he's asking, like, what is this effulgence? I do not know where it is coming from. And then Krishna is reminding Arjuna. He's saying that, it is being done by Aswatthama. He's informing him. And then he reminds him and he says that, Arjuna, you know how to counteract that weapon. So, it is up to Krishna to remind us. So Arjuna had to be reminded by Krishna, and Krishna did it, externally. He spoke to Arjuna the following words, right? So which we are doing right now. So Krishna was there standing right next to Arjuna, and Arjuna was crying, first praying and then asking for whatever he was to do. And Prabhupada said in the previous verse that is the right way to do the things, that you should always bring in Krishna. Right? And the reason we say that, one should always bring in Krishna is that a person who does that, a person whose behavior is like that whenever he has got, like Arjuna is a Kshatriya, so he won't take things lying down like that, right? He will do something about it, but he has a certain proper way of doing it, right? He just won't do like Ashwatthama was like, all right, I'm cornered. This is all I know. I don't know how to retract it, but who cares about that? Let me just, get going and let me release it. In contrast, Arjuna is not knowing that. And the reason is that Arjuna is a Mahabaho. He is very strong. He knows how to do things, right? And he knows how to contract that Brahmastra also. Doesn't remember at this time. But so what, even if he forgets how to retract it, because of the fact that he knows that there are 5 causes, and Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter talks about that there are 5 causes that are involved in the accomplishment of any action that is there. And of course, there is the body, right? And then there's the soul, the performer. Then there are the various senses, from the body that will be involved. Then the endeavor, whatever action actually you will do. And ultimately, there's the super soul also. So these are the 5 factors of action. So Arjuna knows that if he has to really come out unscathed from this incident, he has to involve Krishna in his activities. So that's why he's praying to Krishna, right? And then we have to remember that if you are in that mood, right, that you understand that, then Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita 18, he says that whatever right or wrong action a man performs from his body or from his mind or using his words, right, this is called always caused by these 5 factors, always like that. So he knows like that. He also knows that he is dependent on Krishna for everything. He's not like, okay, this I can do by myself. I don't have to, worry about anything. I will do things on my own, and so on and so forth. He doesn't do that, right? He turns to Krishna. And then some very interesting things that we notice there is that Krishna has just reminded him, and he's saying, and then later on we'll come to know that he will touch water for purification, right? So the mood is different. When Ashwatthama is touching water for purification, he's touching water for purification purely from the material perspective, and which is that this is a astra, I have to invoke the Brahmastra, so it is a procedure, you have to first purify yourself, right? Not like that, right? But here, Arjuna, he knows how to do that. He will invoke the mantras also, but he is doing it with a very, very different mood. And first is that he is purifying his hands. He's touching the water for purification. Now, my question to you is that where else do you purify yourself? Do you come off some other situation when you purify yourself? You touch water, or you do Achman. And Achman, yeah, but why do you do Achman? Why do you clarify it, clean yourself? What is it that you're doing?
Purify yourself.
Huh?
Purify ourselves and the thing we are offering.
Yeah. So the answer is that because you're going to do some worship of the Lord, right? That's why you clean yourself, right? So it is worship of the Lord. So when Arjuna is doing this Achman, he is thinking of it that whatever work he does, and that's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, yat karoshi, yat ashnasi, yat juhoshi dadati, yat tapasyasi konteya, tat kurushva mad arpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, he says, do it as an offering to me. Simple like that. So even if when Arjuna is going to release the Brahmas, he's doing it as a service to Krishna. And if he's doing it as service to Krishna, for him it is worship. So to the words that work is worship really applies to Arjuna in this particular case. So he's doing it as a worship. And we know that this instance has happened after the Mahabharata war is over, recently concluded. And so Arjuna has already been taught all these things in the Bhagavad Gita, right? That do nishkam karma. He says, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yuddhija. So he's saying that at all the times, remember me. In whatever you're doing, you remember me. And that's what Arjuna is doing. So even if when it comes to an act like, performing Achman to invoke the mantras, to bring out a Brahmastra, for Arjun, it is still a devotional service. In his mind, it is still a devotional service. And then later on, he will also circumambulate Krishna 4 times, he'll circumambulate before really, reciting the mantras. Again, it's the mood, because Krishna is, a temple in it himself, right? What is a temple? Temple is where the deity is. So the deity is right now standing in front of you. The Lord is standing in front of you. So he, as part of his worship, he will just, circumambulate him. And then only will he go that, right? So the results, obviously, the results are going to be different. Arjuna is creating the Brahmastra, and the mantra is the same. It's the same mantra to invoke the Brahmas. I mean, maybe it's slightly different in the sense that it's a Brahmas to counteract the Brahmas, a little bit more powerful. But the procedure is still the same. You touch water for purification, you recite the mantra. But then Arjuna, his mood and his consciousness is different, right? Ashwatthama's mood was and his sankalpa at that time was to destroy the complete Pandava clan. Whereas Arjuna's sankalpa is that I'm bringing this Brahmas to be able to preserve the Pandava clan. The Pandava one should be protected, right? And we see, and we know the results. We know the end results, right? Ashwatthama was humiliated very badly towards the end of the chapter, but Arjuna was victorious. The Pandavas lived on to rule the world. And even when he tried to kill Parikshit Maharaj, Krishna jumps in and Krishna saves Parikshit Maharaj, like that, right? So something to keep in mind over here is that same Arjuna who was so overwhelmed when he sees this this bright effulgence coming in front of him, and he doesn't know from where it is coming, he's in a crisis situation. There's a big problem looming in front of him. The biggest problem is of self-preservation and also preserving the others, because we don't know. If you have, if you have done the sankalp that it should go and kill all the Pandavas, then this Brahmas will go and kill everybody like that, right? With whatever sankalp that you have brought in. but it won't kill anybody who is not as part of the sankalpa, right? If there's somebody, a deer comes in, it will go unscathed like that. So Arjuna, in this case, he does is that he's facing a problem there, and he solves his problem by borrowing Krishna's intelligence, right? And Krishna, we know, is a friend. So all that we have to remember, and the takeaway for us from this particular verse, is that if we act in Krishna consciousness, then the Lord will become our best friend, right? And then once he becomes a best friend, then he always looks after the friend's comfort, he will give himself, but we have to be devotedly and engaged, working 24 hours for the Lord. And this is something that Lord told Arjuna in the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So Arjuna is now, following that. He's applying whatever he's saying into his life by bringing in Krishna into his purview by praying. And then we see that I just wanted to bring in a verse from this chapter here. Let me go back and try to find out which one it was. It's a very nice rhythm thing is there. And I wanted to point that out because I don't think I got a chance to point that out when I was teaching it previously. So just bear with me while I bring it up. Verse text. Okay.
But it is just reminding you of time. I thought you said you have to end it at 4 o'clock.
Yeah. I'm ending it. Yeah. So no questions today, Meda?
No, I mean, I'm just thinking of your
Thank you. No, thank you for reminding me. Yeah, thank you for reminding me. We can get carried away by that. Yeah. Okay, yeah, because I need to prepare the station, etc., for the next reading. And I will be reading, by the way, today. Today it's my chance to read from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Leading up to Narsimha Dev Chaturthi, we are just. So I'll like to go and look at verse number 21. I'm posting that 21st verse there. Let me know if you got it.
Yes.
Okay, good. So let's go there. And I just wanted to draw some parallels between Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. And let me also go there. Tata pradushkritam teja prachandam sarvato disham pranapadam abhipreksha vishnum jishnur uvachaha. So there, if you look at the meaning, what is the meaning of Vishnu? Vishnum. Unto the Lord. And what's the meaning of Jishnu? Arjuna. So you see, sometimes they will start using, in our scriptures, we find a lot of times that you'll find the names that will be rhyming and they go together, look very nice. So, Vishnu, Jishnu is for Krishna and Arjun, Vishnu, Jishnu, or Rishikesh, Gurakesh, like that. So they will always have some nice, matching words. So I just wanted to point out the beauty of Sanskrit language to you all here. So having said that, I will take your leave. If there are any questions, please pose them to me, and then I will address them either to the group next meeting or to the group in between, or separately. If it's a private question, I will separately address you in your WhatsApp.
Shraddha, will you be on YouTube or no?
Today, yes, I will be. I will be on ISKCON Silicon Valley's all channels. Yeah, that will be broadcast on YouTube. Yeah, so ISKCON Facebook, ISKCON YouTube, ISKCON, Fan Spark, and all those 100 places where wherever they broadcast. Yeah, there are 10, 12 places where we broadcast, so it will go to all those places. Yeah, like that. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Very
Hare Krishna. Vanchikalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So on the WhatsApp group, I will post the links on how to join this other reading. It's not on this Zoom call, but there will be a Zoom call for that as well. So feel free to join. It will start at 4:30 p.m., which is about 23 minutes from now. Okay. So I'll post it there. Okay? Yeah. Thank you so much for joining. Have a wonderful day, all of you, and we will touch base again. Hare Krishna, then we pranam.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Goodbye.